Hey, 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 party people. It's Brandi and Cesley, and we are back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. Okay, Grow Girls, we are heading into Mother's Day, and we know that we have a ton of listeners that are mothers, all right? So, what we wanted to do today is we wanted to have a really honest conversation about motherhood. So, not the polished version, not the Instagram version, just the real everyday kind. Because, yes, it's beautiful, but if we're being honest, it's also a lot sometimes. All right. And we've been reminded of this lately that God isn't separate from motherhood. He's actually right in the middle of it. He's in the mess, the noise, the chaos. He's in all of it. So, wherever you are right now, driving, folding laundry, hiding in the pantry for just a quiet second, this is for you.
Yeah. I love that we're doing this too because I think in motherhood we have this like unspoken pressure, and I think a lot of times we don't want to we don't have a real conversation and be like, actually I've had a really hard day, or parenting is hard, or because we think that it makes people look at us in a different way. Like we want to act like we kind of have it all together, and I feel like motherhood comes with so much pressure. And even before we jumped on this episode, Brandi and I were talking about how like my son is 16. So 16 years ago, I don't think there was this pressure that there is now in parenting kids. Like social media wasn't the thing that it is now. Like it was just kind of a fun way to like put pictures up and share your lives. And now it's this like, it's become this beast of a thing that is beautiful. And it's a great way that so many people can make income and how so many people can connect and you can have community, but also it's this huge comparison. And so like motherhood has this pressure now that I don't think that we had 15, 16 years ago. There's this expectation that we're supposed to be patient all the time, present all the time, creating the most magical memories. I see birthday parties online and I'm like, well, if I'm not doing that, I what am I even doing? I even get ads on like TikTok all the time where they will say like, if you don't have this toy this summer, what are you even doing? And I really despise those. Like I always want to comment and be like, stop doing that.
Right.
That's not nice. Like if a mom cannot afford these things, her kids are going to still have a magical, wonderful, like childhood. We feel like we have to keep our house together. Hmm?
Well, you know what? Yeah, what I was gonna say, there's 2
No,
things I
do
was
it.
gonna say, sorry to interrupt you, but the first thing is, like, I think social media is so beautiful, and then there's also so much negative too, because like you just said, comparing yourself to others or pressure or this or that, like, we didn't have that before. But then also what you just said of like these toys. At the end of the day, and I saw some kind of it was a quote, it was a study somewhere, okay? But it was like the kids' fondest childhood memories between the age of 3 and 8 is the
Mhm.
trips they take with their family. So if you could do a little mini trip this summer, that's way more important than buying all of the things. It always is spending time with them. Troy just like he's 6, so he's understanding, things and playing some games, and we're playing Uno, and he wants to play every night. So taking the time to sit and play Uno with him is way more important than buying him a new toy. So
Okay,
just
I'm
a
gonna send
reminder
you
there.
guys. My daughter is obsessed with. Have you guys ever played Uno Flip? Okay, you're gonna
No, I don't
hate
think
it.
so. Just
He's gonna love it. I'm gonna send it to you. It's become like that. We play it almost every single day. My daughter is obsessed with it. And yes, we play a game. Like that's her favorite thing is if we just sit and play a game together. But just like you were saying, like I think that we see what other people, even like stay at home moms, I see on social media all the time, someone's like, I'm a stay at home mom. And they're in this like huge mansion and their house is spotless. And I'm like, oh, are you cleaning all the time? I'm not cleaning all the time. Like, should I be cleaning all the time? Like, and then I start thinking about that. I'm like, well, your kid knows so many Bible verses. My kid doesn't know all those Bible verses. Am I not spending enough time teaching my kids their Bible verses? Like, we have to be doing all of these things, and somehow we have to do everything really well. And when we don't, we go straight to this, like, I'm not doing enough. I'm messing this up. Other moms are better than me, but I I want to shake almost whoever's listening to this. I want to like shake you and be like, we were never meant to carry motherhood like that. We were never meant to do this in our own strength. We were never meant to be good at everything. God called us to be in community, and we were called to parent from a place of other people having qualities and skills that we don't have. Like, I'm not supposed to be good at keeping my house clean all the time, making sure my kids are educated in every single thing beautifully. Like, my job is to teach them to love the Lord and run to Him through anything. And my job is to raise them to be good human beings. And I tell them that all the time. Like, my job is to make sure that you walk out of this house one day and you are a human being that serves others and doesn't serve yourself. Like, that is my priority. And being good at other things is awesome. But if I'm not, that's also okay. Like, I don't have to be the best chef, the best this, the best that, plan the best parties. I'm not sup I mean, I can't imagine a world where all of us were good at everything all the time. We would never need anyone
Mhm.
else, right? Like,
Yeah. We all have different strengths and weaknesses as mothers, as women, as humans, right? I love what you just said. And that's why you've got to be able to give yourself grace. And I love what you just said too, Cecily. We're talking about social media. I see so many incredible women online that they homeschool their kids. Cecily homeschools. And like that, God did not call me to do that. I'm having issues with my kindergarteners
yeah.
reading. Okay.
Oh,
AI. Whatever. I mean, like, listen, God did
I have something to say about that.
Cecily's like, "I got it." God did not call me to do that, okay? As much as I would have loved that, but I did find a
Yeah.
great school for our boys. Do you know what I mean? And
And I
that's
think,
okay.
like, you would be shocked at the amount of moms, women, who, when I say I homeschool our kids, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like, almost like an excuse, or like they feel bad and they're like, "Well, I wish I could do that, but I just can't." And I was like, well, "This is not a comparison. Like, I don't get a trophy for homeschooling my kids, and you don't get like punished for not homeschool. Like, you do whatever you want to do. I'm not judging you." Like, but we as women come up with this comparison in our own heads. I really think we do. I mean,
Mhm.
it is shocking the amount of times that someone's like, "Oh, where do your kids go to school?" And I'll tell them like, "Oh, well, I have 3 kids, we homeschool, we do this." And they will literally, you see kind of a look in their face shift as if I'm going to judge them. And I'm like, we're just having a
Mm.
conversation. Like, I'm here for whatever it is you want to do. I don't care what you want to do. You want to forest school your kids, you want to put them in a private school, you want to put them in public school, you want to put them in a Christian school, you want to put them in a non-Christian school. You're their mom. Like, the Lord has created you to
Hmm.
know them better than anyone else. But it's so funny that we assume that people are going to judge us for our choices. So often we'll like apologize before we even realize that like nobody's worried about what you're doing.
Right. I love that so much. And I love like even the like when I go online and I talk about like the dyes and stuff, some moms are like, well, I'm like, I
Okay.
don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Do
care
what you
what you
want.
feed your kiddos. I don't care how you are their mom. And that's the one thing that, says, and there might be women out there who do judge. When we talked about this before, like I was so shocked when I had kids and people were like, was it a
Yeah.
vaginal? Was it a C-section? This, that. Does it matter? They came
Mind your
out of
own
me. I had
business.
one each way.
Like,
And it's like when people
yeah.
that's the whole thing with nursing too. So I was blessed enough to nurse both of my children, okay? My sister-in-law, who is, gosh, the best mom in the entire dang universe, like probably the best human, she was not able to. And that really beat her up, which I
Yeah.
think is
Crazy.
BS because a fed baby is a perfect baby. Like the amount of talking about pressure that we have as women, we have to do it this way, that way. No, we don't. We all have different children. We are all different and we are all called for different things.
Hmm.
As long as our babies are taken care of and loved, that is what
And
matters
also,
most.
who decided that that was the standard for your life? Like, let's just talk about that for a second. Like, as a mom, whoever, like, the things that I'm feeling and thinking about, and we now have gone on like a total tangent, but like,
Sorry.
in motherhood, I want you to stop and think for a second. Where is the standard that you're setting yourself to coming from? Really? Because when I think about it, like, I just thought about what you were talking about with like bottle fed, breastfed, all this. Like, who made that decision for you to where you felt inferior because you made a certain decision? Like, that's not the standard that God set you to. And at the end of the day, that's the only
Mm.
standard that matters. Like, the Lord did not set that standard for you as a mother. You're allowing someone else's standard to make you feel inferior somewhere as a mother. And we have to stop doing that. We have to stop and think like, "Oh,
Mm.
wait a second. why am I thinking that? Why do I feel like I have to do this? Because God didn't give me that standard. I'm getting it from somewhere. Like, where am I getting it from?
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about mothering from grace. All right. So, what if motherhood isn't about getting it all right? Like we were just talking about, right? What if it's not about getting it all right? What if it's actually about staying close to Jesus in it? All right. Like instead of striving, just
Mm.
abiding, right? Because real life motherhood looks like interruptions, it looks like messes, it looks like repeating yourself over and over again. It looks like being needed consistently and
Mhm.
constantly. And like, Cecily, you said this at the beginning too of like this whole chill, calm. Listen, we have this whole breaking generational curses, changing X, Y. You're
Yeah.
not going to be calm all the time. Sometimes you're going to need to scream at your kids because guess what? They don't listen when you're just like, well, Johnny J, I'm going to need you to sit down on that
Yeah,
couch right now.
Johnny.
Look me in the eye, Johnny J. Like it does. You're
Yeah.
not less than because you screamed. Okay. And I actually got a conversation with Cecily. So I literally, oh, we're going down a tangent. Sorry, guys. But I did. I had a conversation with Cecily a few weeks ago and I was tore up. I felt like I was the worst. I was crying. All right. At baseball a few weeks ago, Troy just was not paying attention. Okay. He was just out there and Mitch is like, hey, get to home. Get to home. That's your job as catcher. And Mitch's nice, sweet little voice because everybody thinks Mitch is so sweet. Okay. And Troy was not like
Mhm.
talking about yelling. Troy was not listening. So I said, and my voice carries, I screamed, Troy, make sure you guard home. And every parent looked at
She
me.
had that trainer voice that
A
carries.
trainer voice.
Mhm.
Like I had 8 heads, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, was that too much?" I didn't yell at my kid. I
Right.
wasn't belittling my kid as like, anything like that. I was just trying to get him to pay attention. And Cecily's like, "No,
Yeah.
I mean, I yell at Maddie all the time when she's not paying attention on the soccer field." I reached out to 3 other moms, and they're like, "No, I'm way
Yeah.
worse." Like, you know what I mean? But in my mind, because I'm working on X, Y, and Z, I thought that I was the worst human, and we have got to stop.
Mm.
We have got to give ourselves
The devil's
grace, all
really
right?
good at that too. Like the
So
devil's really good at the second that he knows our insecurities, right? Because we speak them out loud all the time. We do. Like this is our own fault. We talk about the things that we want to shift and change. And so the enemy's like, oh, gotcha. Noted. And so the second that
Mhm.
you did one thing, the enemy's like, ooh, we're gonna think about this all day. Like we're gonna think about this all day, and I'm gonna replay this like a track in your head over and over again. Which is why we know that we have to know God's truth so like concretely.
So good. Yeah. And like Cecily was saying, those moments, they don't take away
Mhm.
from your spiritual life. They kind of are your spiritual life, right? This is where God is meeting you. So, how can we invite Him into these hard moments instead of struggling to figure out how to do it all and to create it all
I love
ourselves?
that. I think that's so important because I think as moms we forget that like I think we think we're striving for this specific kind of spiritual life, but like this is our spiritual life. This life that we're living right now, and every mistake we make is a moment of growth with the Lord and a moment of getting closer to God. And so like I don't think there is anything more beautiful for me. Like the second that I really saw who God was to me was the second I became a mother because I realized this like if I have this unconditional love for my kids, that's like an ounce of the unconditional love that God has for us as a perfect father. So like in my mind, the love I have for my kids echoes the love that God has for me. So I look at my kids and think like the way that I'm so harsh with myself, would I ever want to be that harsh with my kids? No. And God's looking at me doing the same thing going like, "Oh, my sweet daughter, like you're so hard on yourself and I love you so much." And that could just make me cry because I think we're so hard on ourselves as moms. And I'm like to say our emotions are kind of like a check engine light. So like when we like you said, like when we yell at our kids, when we I mean, I lose my temper at my 16-year-old frequently. Frequently, he I think he likes to do things that push my buttons. He just like he likes
He
to be
probably does.
like he'll walk in the living room. I was just telling Brandy and just start like messing with the dog so the dog barks as loud as humanly possible while I'm relaxing, drinking coffee. I'm like, why would you do that? Why do you want to? Why? Like, what was the purpose behind that? There's no purpose. It's just to like stir stuff up. And so in those moments, I have a check engine light going like, oh, this is where I need more self-control. Okay, now I have to bring that thing to God that I'm struggling with and let God take care of it because I cannot. I'm an imperfect human. I can't handle this myself. I can't do it all myself. And there's this book called Risen Motherhood, and it used an example that shifted my perspective that I loved. And it is that God is not just in these like big moments of our lives, He's in these small, everyday, ordinary moments. He's in the making meals, the doing laundry, the bedtime prayers, the car rides, the sports. Like none of that is wasted. A lot of times we can feel as
Oh,
moms that our day is wasted, our time is wasted. We don't see the fruit of the work that we're doing. I think a lot as moms. We're planting a lot of seeds, but these are like I like to think of these as like oak tree seeds. These are not like little seeds that like flowers are sprouting up every which way. Like these are like big seeds we're planting. And that takes time. Like none of that is wasted. And so there's this picture in that they kind of paint for you in this book, Risen Motherhood, which is actually based on a podcast that I love called Risen Motherhood. And it is this idea of God as a goldsmith. And we are the gold as mothers. And so when a goldsmith
hmm.
has to refine gold, like gold comes in this like cluster of, it doesn't actually look very pretty when you find it. Like when you mine for gold, it's kind of like, does not look like what you see that people wear. So, in order to refine gold, a goldsmith has to put it in the fire to where it completely melts down because when it melts down, all of the impurities rise to the top. And so the heat brings everything up to the surface, all the impurities that were already there, right? Like we have all these impurities that are already there below the surface. And motherhood kind of brings all those impurities to the surface, right? We can't hide, right? And so it's this idea that, like, oh, we are the gold and God is the goldsmith because motherhood has a way of bringing things out of us, right? Just like Brandy was talking about, like our impatience, our frustration, our comparison, our selflessness, our insecurities, like all these things motherhood brings up because you can't really hide from your kids, right? Like you can't fake being perfect when you have a baby screaming on your arm or your kid hasn't slept all night or you've got 6 different sports to get to in one day. Like you can't hide your impurities there. And so it's so easy to think like, why am I like this? Why can't I be more patient? Why can't I be the perfect mom? But there's nothing wrong with you. Like, God is actually refining you. He's allowing these impurities to come up to the surface so that He can sift them out. A goldsmith does not just throw the gold in the fire and walk away, he has to watch it. He's intentional with it. The goal of it is to see a goldsmith says that, like, and I thought this was so cool because I looked more into this analogy because, y'all know I love a good analogy. So I was like, I need to know all about how goldsmiths make gold now. And a goldsmith's goal when they're getting rid of all these impurities in the gold is to see his own reflection in it. And I was like, "What?" Cuz in my mind I was like, "Okay, that hit me like in all these everyday stretching moments, God is forming something in us that is shaping us to reflect him. He's putting us into this fire of motherhood so that he
Mhm.
can melt us down, allow the impurities to come up and get rid of them so that we can reflect him more. So think about that in those hard moments when you feel impatient, when you feel like you've lost your temper, when you maybe just like want to break down and cry, when you feel sad, when you're depressed, like know that in those hard moments you're not failing God. Like that is the proof that God is working.
Gosh, that's so good. So many good nuggets. So I love what you said too, is like it's not all for nothing and like the car rides, right? And I think about, when we leave school and I'm like, "Hey baby, what was favorite things about school today?" And then I always say, "Did you do an act of kindness?" I'm teaching my kid that, and it's on his chore
I
list, an
love
act of
that.
kindness. All right. I am teaching my kid the importance of kindness every single day, right? And then when we're leaving sporting events, like, "Hey, did you have fun?" Right? X, Y, and Z. We're not like, "You messed up this." Is like we give them, we coach them, but it's like, "Hey, what's most important is," he said to me today, it was the cutest thing, Cecily. He goes, "Mommy, I just you're so proud of me because I do good at school and I do good at sports and because I love God. And I said, I'm so proud of you because you love God. And that's
Yeah.
most important, and I want him to always remember that it's not, his grades and how well he does in sports and X, Y, and Z. Like that's the kindness and knowing and loving God and bringing people to him. That's what's most important to me. And so, I feel like what you just said too, talking about our motherhood as being a
Mhm.
ministry, right? So the nurturing, the sacrifices, everything that we do to raise our children is actually a reflection of what you said,
Mhm.
Christ's love. And I think that's so beautiful. And I don't think mothers really understand that or see that enough. All right. So sorry, we're gonna land this plane. We
We were
we
like,
had
"This
some
is gonna
notes
be
and
a
then we just
short
kept going over
episode."
here.
We shouldn't have thought that.
We should not have thought that. But let's talk about like shifting the mindset, right? And why it matters. Because the way you think about these moments, it changes everything, right? Like when you feel overwhelmed and your first thought is, I can't do this. And if you haven't been there as a mother, if you haven't fallen to the ground and cried or cried in your car thinking, I can't do this, then you're God's favorite and he gave you little angel children, okay? Because most of us have been in there, all right? So,
I thought that this
and
morning. I'm just gonna go ahead and like raise my hand. So I know you guys think on this podcast that like I am a perfect mother and I do no wrong. However, to make you guys all feel better, I'm gonna let you know that just this morning, my son, this is about cat litter. So my son, one of my sons, his job is to take care of the cats. And I walked out to the garage because we keep the cats in the garage. Because if you're a cat person, good for you. I am not. And so they live in my garage. And there was no cat litter in the thing, like not a little bit, like none. And so I walk in, he goes, "Oh yeah, we ran out of cat litter like 2 days ago." And I was like, Okay, so where are they gonna go to the bathroom?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about that. I forgot to tell you." And I literally, my first thought was like, I cannot do this. This is like every day I deal with this. This is crazy that I'm still dealing with something like this. And it was something so small. And I told, like, my first thought was like, I literally can't do this. And it seems silly, but I had to stop and like pray about it and be like, okay, Lord, like that's not the right thought.
yeah. And it's not silly because moms do
Everything.
everything. We really do. And yes, our husbands are great and they do help we
Mhm.
remember all of the things and do all the things. So when your child does something like that, you're like, "What is it all for? What? Yeah, I just asked you to remember one thing. Just tell me. I don't even want
Yeah.
these cats." It's okay to feel like that. So we're going to talk we're going to talk about the mindset too, right? And in that moment instead of saying, "I can't do this," shift it to, "Okay, God, I know you're going to help me through this moment. Like, God, I know that you have me, right?" So instead of like when you feel like you messed up, like me, when I spiraled, we talked about this earlier, right? When you feel like you messed up, instead of spiraling, say, "Thank you for your grace, Lord," right? Because I am not perfect. I'm never going to be. So reframe your mind. Do not spiral. Just say, "God, thank you for your grace. Help me get through this." Right. And then when you're comparing yourself, because man,
Mhm.
comparison is evil. Do not compare yourself to anybody because you are a sparkly unicorn. You are wonderfully, beautifully made. Okay. Stop comparing yourself. So when you start comparing yourself, say this: "God, you gave me these
Mm,
kids on purpose." And here's
I
something
love
that I
that.
love. And I hope that you guys love this too. I heard it once and I was like, man, this is beautiful. But God chose you specifically to be your child's mother because he knew you were the perfect one for the job. Despite any insecurities, despite any generational curses, despite any challenges, God knew that you were
Mhm.
perfect for the job, right? So again, it's not about pretending things are easy because they're not, but it's about choosing the truth in the middle of it
I
all.
love that. And I think that so many moms need to hear that. And so I love that you just said that. I think we forget that we were specifically chosen for these children and we think that we lack and we lack nothing. We lack nothing because the Lord already knew who our kids were going to be. He knew who we were going to be. And so we have to learn how to rely on him in these moments where it would be easier to fall apart, to be honest. Like it's easier to lose our temper, it's easier to fall apart. It's harder to go to the source of everything and say, "I actually need help." And I think we need to redefine what a good mom even is because it's not never losing your patience. I lost my patience over cat litter today.
Mhm.
Like, not even a big thing. Cat litter, cats. Yep. It's not having a perfect home. It's not getting everything right. A good mom is just a mom who keeps coming back to Jesus. Like, period. It's a mom who says, I'm sorry when she messes up. It's a mom who shows her kids
Hmm.
what it looks like to need God. Your kids do not need perfection from you, they need to see Jesus through you.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. All right, girl. So going into Mother's Day, we just want you to take a deep breath. Like, really take a deep breath and release some of the pressure that you've been carrying. All right. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not forgotten. God sees you in the ordinary and the hard and the unseen. And just like that gold in the fire, you are being refined. You are being shaped. You are blooming even if you can't fully see it yet. We want you to remember you are beautiful, capable, and worthy, and we cannot wait to watch you grow, girl.